it's Jen from Haley Family, and today we're gonna do chili in the Dutch oven. Let's go through the steps. So when you want to make chili, you got to start by browning your ground beef, and I always use an onion when I do that. So we're going to start by cutting up our onion. You want to chop it, but not super fine. Now here's a tip for you when you do chili and you're doing it camping. A lot of times when I make chili at home or do a start for spaghetti or sloppy joes or something like that, I will go ahead and cook up a pound of hamburger with some onions, and I'll just freeze it. So that way when we go camping, we can just throw this on the fire real quick and it's not a whole lot of extra work. So that's just a tip for camping, because when you go camping, it's supposed to be a relaxing experience, right? You're supposed to not have to think, oh, I gotta cook dinner tonight, right? So think smarter, work smarter, not harder, right? So when you make something like that, you wanna go ahead and just double your recipe so you're ready to go. We wanna go ahead and start to brown the onion in the hot skillet with just a little bit of olive oil, and then we will add our meat after we've softened the onions. Now this is a non-stick skillet, so you don't have to worry about a whole lot of olive oil, but I like to put some in there just for some flavor. After you've softened up the onions, you want to go ahead and add your hamburger. This is just about a pound of hamburger. Make sure you salt and pepper. Okay, so the ground beef is just about finished cooking. You want to cook it most of the way through. Since this is going to cook on the fire for a little while in the Dutch oven, if it's not completely cooked, that's okay. But you want it to be mostly browned. I like to add a little bit of dark chili powder before I put this in the Dutch oven. Once you've kind of stirred that and mixed it together, we're going to transfer it to a bowl. And I like to just kind of go ahead and dip it and put it into the bowl, so this way we drip off some of the grease. For chili, we use several different cans of things. So we use a can of diced tomatoes. This is just gonna go straight in with the meat. We use a can of mild chili beans. This also just is gonna go straight in with the meat. We don't drain this. The chili beans, you want all the chili sauce with it. Diced tomatoes. Now we have a couple things that we need to rinse and drain. So we're gonna use a can of light red kidney beans. Just pour them into a colander, let them drain out. A can of dark red kidney beans. And a can of corn. Okay, so I don't really rinse them usually. I usually just let them drain out, drain the juice off of them, and then put them right in. There we go. All this is gonna go right in the Dutch oven. We're gonna add some salt, pepper, chili powder, and our special ingredient at the end. Okay, we've got the Dutch oven ready to go. We are going to use a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of our Dutch oven today. So you just want to use about a tablespoon or so. And when you use the olive oil, you want to have like a silicone brush or something, and you want to just kind of move the oil around in the bottom of the Dutch oven. And then you want to get some olive oil up on the top around the sides, because you don't want everything to stick in there. All right. Nice and greased up. that aside. And then we're just gonna pour the kidney beans, the corn, the browned meat, all of that just directly right into the Dutch oven. Okay. Now for the salt and pepper. I use the salt and pepper grinders. I feel like they add a lot more flavor than just regular table salt and pepper that's already been ground. This is a huge pot of soup, so you want to make sure that you don't go light with the salt and pepper. And then you're going to use about a tablespoon of chili powder. So I usually eyeball it. I'm one of those cooks. Do it till it feels right. Stir it together some more. We can always add more salt and pepper and chili powder later if we need to. Throughout the cooking process, we will add some water to this, but for right now, we're gonna start it with just the liquid and the juices from the initial process.
All right, got the Dutch oven with the chili. We're gonna do a little bit different this time. We aren't gonna put coals on top. It's only gonna be cooked from the bottom, like a normal style pot. But I'm gonna spread these coals out so it cooks nice and slow and evenly, and we'll slowly bring it up to a boil. Here we go, they're nice and spread out. So we're just gonna set this right on there. Dutch ovens typically have these feet on them that kind of elevate them off the coals, which is kind of nice. So we're just gonna set these right on there. There we go. There we go. And we'll give it about 10 minutes, and then we'll pull off the lid and we'll start to stir it, and you should start to see it warming up inside. And then, yeah, we'll just keep going from there. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes in. It's getting warmed up. It's starting to bubble a little bit. So I'm gonna put about 16 ounces of water directly into the chili, and then we're just gonna let it go for a half hour or so. And then we'll come back and check back in with you.
Okay, when we do chili, we like to do cornbread with our chili. So I'm just gonna mix that up real quick. You just follow the instructions on the back of the box. So it's 1 package of Jiffy corn mix, 1 egg, and 1/3 cup of milk. I like to break up the mix a little bit if it's a little chunky. Just mix it until it's combined. After the chili's had a chance to cook, we're gonna heat up our small Dutch oven, and I'll show you what we do to actually cook the cornbread after we've heated up the Dutch oven.
Okay, I'm gonna check our chili here. It's been about 20 minutes, and it's just starting to boil. So I have our small Dutch oven here that we're gonna cook our cornbread in, but I need to get it warm first. So what I'm gonna do now is take some coals and put it on top. And then I'm gonna put our small Dutch oven on there to get it warmed up, because we want this warm before we put our butter and oil in. Okay, I got the coals on top. So now I'm gonna take our small Dutch oven and stack it. And that's what these legs are for. So you can stack these Dutch ovens. So I'm gonna stack it and get this Dutch oven nice and warm, because we want it warm before we put our butter and oil in there. And you're using butter and oil because oil prevents the butter from burning, and the butter makes the bottom of the cornbread super crispy. Okay, the small Dutch oven is warm. So I'm gonna take it in, and we're gonna melt some butter and oil together in it, and then we're gonna pour in the cornbread mix.
All right, Brian brought the warm Dutch oven in for me, so I'm gonna start by putting a little bit of oil in the bottom. Again, we wanna make sure that it's not going to stick, so you just go ahead and swish it around with your silicone brush. You don't have to go all the way up the sides for this one because it's not going to cover that much of the pan. And then you wanna take your butter. You're gonna use about a half a stick of butter. This is not on the ingredients. You wanna cut it into just some tablespoons, if not maybe like half tablespoon. Put them in there and you're gonna want the butter to melt. So you can see we're all melted. We've gone up the sides a little bit, about 2 inches up the side. And then we just put the cornbread mix right in there. Now since this is just us eating tonight, we just made 1 box of mix, but if you were gonna serve more than 4 people, you would wanna do 2 boxes of mix, 2 eggs, and 2/3 cup of milk. So you can see there's a lot of liquid in here. That's what's gonna make the cornbread nice and crispy. So this is normal, that's what you wanna do. So what we're gonna do before Brian puts this on top of the Dutch oven that has the chili is we're gonna add a little salt, pepper, a little chili seasoning if we need to, and our special ingredient to our chili. After we've done that, we'll put the lid back on the Dutch oven that's out there already with the chili in it, stack the coals back on top, put this on top of that, close the lid, and let it cook.
All right, I got cornbread. I'm gonna take this lid off of here and give our chili a stir and see what we got. Oh, it's going pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit more seasoning and then our secret ingredient and just a pinch more chili powder. And then our secret ingredient is about a half a cup of brown sugar. And put that in there. And we'll stir it up real nice. Let it keep cooking. We'll put this lid back on here with these coals. We'll put the Dutch oven on top. We're gonna stack it. And then I'm gonna get my other lid and put some coals on top of that lid as well. And it'll be about 15 minutes and then that cornbread will be ready. Okay, there we go. We got coals on top of the cornbread, coals underneath the cornbread and on top of the chili, and then we also have coals underneath the chili. So we're gonna let this cook for about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna pull the cornbread off, and it should be pretty much done. If it's the way to check it is you use a toothpick, and if any of the cornbread sticks to the toothpick, it's not quite done yet. But then we're gonna take the lid off of the chili, because it's probably still going to be a little bit runny because we put 16 ounces of water in there. Depending on how you like your chili, we like ours a little thicker. So we're going to leave the lid off and let some of that water cook out of there through the steam that's coming off, so until it gets to the thickness that we like, and then we're going to eat. Alright, I'm going to pull the lid off of the cornbread to see how it's doing here. So be very careful not to get the coals into your cornbread, but here we go. Oh, it's getting there. You can see most of the butter has been absorbed by the cornbread and it's starting to cook out. So we're going to let this keep going. I'm going to say another 5 minutes. I might add some more coals on top to try and get the top to brown up a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to pull this lid off here. I got my toothpick. I'm going to check it. Nothing's sticking to it, so I'm going to dump these coals down, but first I'm going to pull this off so I don't get any coals in it. So I'm going to pull this off and set it aside. Gonna dump these coals down. lid back on. I'm gonna take some of these big coals off the top here. And like I said before, we're gonna pull this lid off and let some of the water cook out of this chili because we like our chili a little bit thicker. Stir it up a little bit. Oh yeah. Nice stew style campfire chili in the Dutch oven, and we stacked them to make our cornbread. This is going to be amazing. Oh boy.
That looks yummy.
Does it?
Yeah.
Bet you're ready to eat, aren't you?
Yeah. Kind of like looks like you're cutting pie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna just kind of try to scoop this out. The first piece is always the hardest. It doesn't matter what it looks like when it comes out.
Flip that over so they can see the bottom.
All right, here.
Ooh, yeah.
It's nice and crispy.
Yeah.
Nice and burnt on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what you want because it'll have the buttery taste on it. Oh, that's gonna be good.
Paige, is that too much cornbread for you?
No, bro.
Good?
Okay. All right, so we're done cooking our chili. Everything's all finished. We're gonna go ahead and eat. This isn't our typical video. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Everybody knows about it, you know, so we're just trying to make the best of the situation. We're camping in our backyard, doing anything we can to still try to have an adventure.
Yeah, we're just doing some backyard camping because we live out in the country, so since we can't go to the state parks and things right now, we're just sleeping in the camper and still having adventures out back. We're able to cook in the Dutch oven still, so this is the next best thing to camping for us right now.
If you're new to our channel, thanks for watching, and please subscribe. If you're a current subscriber, hey, thanks for watching. We're gonna try and have some more adventures, but you know, it's pretty tough right now, so we might have more of these videos, and we hope you like them. But in the meantime, try to get out and have your own adventure and make some memories.